Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings. And popping over to Real Clear Politics, it's evident that if not all eyes, many eyes are on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. The race between Schimel and Crawford. As you can see on the screen before you, depending on where you get your polls from, Crawford is either a 2 point or 7 point lead over Schimel. And this is disappointing for Wisconsin. Wisconsin has had some crazy rulings in the last decade or so. In addition to that, they currently have a liberal uh, voting record. The current justice, who is retiring, put them as a majority for liberals, leftists, over the two conservatives. Call them conservatives anymore is disingenuous. So often as we're finding out, there's sanity, there's common sense, there's middle of the road, however you want to phrase it. And then there's extreme violent leftism, either through judicial activism by legislating from the bench or outright colluding with leftist violent terrorists. And Wisconsin is no different. Later today, if you have the opportunity and if you're in Wisconsin, please consider voting. This is odd to me, the concept of voting for a Supreme Court justice, but this is at the state level. And this is the nonpartisan, is how they have them listed. So Brad Schimel is a judge of the Waukesha County Circuit Court in Wisconsin. He's been there for 6 years, and he's running for the Supreme Court. He's a Wisconsin boy through and through. He went to high school in Wisconsin. He went to college in Wisconsin. He got his law degree in Wisconsin. And then he became Attorney General of Wisconsin. I don't know much about this guy, but after watching Colorado, for example, when they had their state Supreme Court rule the Ivy League, out of state law school educated Supreme Court justices all ruled to support keeping Trump off the ballot in Colorado, and the in-state educated, in-state law school graduated justices allowed him to stay on the ballot, therefore giving the people of Colorado their voice to vote for whom they wanted to elect. And now in Wisconsin, you have all of these leftist judges running amok, just like in Minnesota, just as you do in Oregon. The 2025 race will determine whether the Liberals will retain their 4-3 majority or if there will be a 3-3 split. Local media outlets considering Justice Brian Hagedorn a conservative-leaning swing vote. According to Wisconsin Watch, in the three court terms before Liberals won a majority in 23, the court decided 61 cases, 4-3. Hagedorn was in the majority for 50 of those cases. more than any other justice, and voted with liberals and conservatives 24 times each. So he really is the cardinal, which is Latin for henge. And this will give liberal interpretation. And when I say liberal, I mean leftist, communist, socialist decisions. If Schimel is elected, the presumption is it'll be a more balanced court. The scales of justice are to be balanced. Otherwise, an imbalance means either it's heavy handed in sentencing, heavy handed in rulings, or it's too lax. We've seen that. We've seen the heavy handedness on the national stage where leftist terrorists did the fire bombings of the cathedral in Washington, D.C., and their charges were dismissed. But just being present to, to state an opinion about the 2020 election resulted in solitary confinement for some individuals 3 or more years. We've seen what society does when it has leftist judges. It punishes those of us who are law abiding, law following individuals. And it rewards those who conduct violent actions, who destroy property, who have reckless regard for that of others and what they possess. The Democrat Party has endorsed this individual for the position, for a nonpartisan position. And with all the violence going on across the nation that the Democrats are funding, in my opinion, they shouldn't be rewarded. But that is up to the people of Wisconsin to decide whether or not they want to reward a party that is violent and destructive, attacking little old ladies, dragging them out of their car and beating them up for the crime of having driven a car. She too is also a judge in a different county. She's running for the Supreme Court. She did go to college initially in Wisconsin, from what it looks like. I had to look it up to make certain that Lawrence University was not the same Sarah Lawrence, the feminist propaganda college. But Lawrence University is an in state school. But she also went out of state for her law degree. Though her biography doesn't list where she was born, it does list for Mr. Schimel that he was born in Wisconsin. And it goes on to state that these two are running for a 10-year term on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. It is 2025, everybody. Let that sink in. It is 2025. I know. Yeah, okay. Some of you already are like, duh, I have a calendar. This term will expire in 2035. If liberalism as leftism is allowed to run rampant and unchecked, what more decay will be the result of 10 years of unchecked power and abuse? Good luck.